Hey, I'm Kenzie. Thanks for tuning into the HonkyTalk podcast. I'm going to play a tune I wrote called One Lifetime. I've got this problem, but they say it's a good one to have. Too many dreams for a dreamer. Head in the clouds can change your demeanor. I've got this hang up, it's causing me to drag my feet. Too many beliefs for a believer, so can get lost, direction weaker. I wanna climb the highest mountain known to man. I wanna hear my songs playing through the radio. I wanna make the NFR like Charmaine James. I wanna travel all over the place. I've never known how to follow all the signs. There's too many dreams for one lifetime. I've got some choices I gotta make, some habits I gotta break. I'm running in circles, jack of all trades, but I gotta find a way to pick one. Be keener, head in the clouds can change your demeanor. I wanna climb the highest mountain known to man. I wanna hear my songs playing through the radio. I wanna make the NFR like Charmaine James. I wanna travel all over the place. I've never known how to follow all the signs. There's too many dreams for one lifetime. I wanna move to Nashville, give my best shot. I wanna live a simple life and help on the farm. Wanna spend my days packing horses up the trail, live in camp and have some stories to tell. I've never known how to follow all the signs. There's too many dreams for one lifetime.
Well, it's Monday. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that Honky Talk podcast, baby. And today we have a special guest, Kenzie Duboiz from Canada. Woo.
So happy to be here.
Thank you, bro.
It's good to be here. And we're coming to you out of Nashville, Tennessee. So Honky Talk is on the road, baby. We got our boys with us. We got Brother Dane,
Aloha.
Brother Trey,
A.
Sister Kenzie.
I'm supposed to say A.
Oh, whoa.
Leave it to the Canadians.
And big shout out to Kenzie's beautiful, sweet mama running around, supporting her daughter. She fed us breakfast this morning.
All those eggs were so good.
Dane felt like he was back in Canada again.
Mm-hmm. Nothing better than bland
Home-cooked
eggs.
meal.
I mean, I'm telling you. No salt, no pepper. That's how I like them.
I didn't have to say nothing.
Yeah.
But we're very thankful for her
Yes.
mama.
I was about to say, thank you for taking your time and doing this today. We know you've got a very busy schedule, and you have some writing sessions later.
Mm-hmm.
So we really appreciate you taking the time and coming on the show and hanging out with us.
Hey, I appreciate you guys driving all the way to come do this.
Any excuse to come to the Ville de Nash.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah, it was a fun night.
down, man.
Well, hopefully it was worth it for you guys. It was a
has
fun
Oh,
night.
yeah. No,
Oh,
it
it
has been.
was. The second we rolled in last night, like we met up at the Kid Rock Bar and immediately
Stayed for like 2 minutes.
I-
2 full minutes.
I walked up to Kenzie and her mom and I was like, "We're leaving in 30 seconds."
and I thought it was because they
That's
wanted to be on a
enough
good time schedule, but that was not the case.
Yeah.
Where did we end up after that? Where, Kenzie, do you remember the name of that place that we went to?
It's like,
Oh, like where we drove to?
Yeah, Music City.
Music City,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And it was right by Scoreboard, which is another place I want to go to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently it's a really cool place too.
And there was some wonderful, wonderful entertainment last night.
oh, they were Fantastic.
Who was that lady that was singing?
I was thinking I meant to actually look up her last name. Her first name was Erin, and it was her debut at the Opry the night before that.
Saturday night it was.
Could I maybe get our assistant to look up her last name? We'll revisit that.
Yeah.
Erin,
Beautiful.
well, I guess I could look at her here too. But yeah, that was really cool to see her playing.
You never
what
know
are the
who you're
chances
gonna,
of that?
Yeah, I was like, you never know who you're gonna run into here because we met with our other buddy,
Yeah.
Brad.
Brad, yeah.
and he was hanging out with Zach Top.
Yeah,
like,
last
just-
week.
Yeah.
Just
Yes, Erin Viencourt. I don't know if that's how you say it, but
wow.
it was so cool because she was, I think, the first person that performed at the Opry, and like she was like my favorite. Like I loved watching her, and then just this little venue with like not a lot of people in it, and then she's like up there singing, like so cool.
Kenzie, you came up to me and you're like, I saw her at the Opry like 2 nights ago.
No, the night before
The
that.
night before.
Yeah, the night
Wow.
before that. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So cool.
big shout out to Erin.
And I got to meet her.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
And
cool.
she was such a little body, but to have such a smooth voice, effortlessly
know.
just
I know.
sang.
Boys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
So
it was kind
inspiring.
of really cool to watch her sing. She caught everybody's attention.
And
So
she was great. She took time to talk to Kenzie.
Yeah.
Took time to talk to me. Trey was on his way to the bathroom. She stopped him, said hi, and that's really like, as musicians, I think what means the most is taking time person to person, because like everybody forgets the humanity behind it, right? They just see the artist or the song. And at the end of the day, she's just a little sweetheart, and just got a big old sweetheart right here, and another one over there. And Kenzie, well, we all know she's got a big heart. Good woman.
we love you too, Dane.
I'm just,
But it is very true that it's like very, like it's a nice feeling when people that are, made it, so to speak, can act not too cool for you. Because there's always that too. People like that you run into that won't give you the time of the day just because they don't know your name or they don't know who you are.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself on the who is Kenzie. How'd you get started in music? Is it something you've always like done your whole life, or what?
Yeah, so definitely something that I've been doing my whole life. My mom is a full-time piano teacher, so I kind of started out in piano lessons, hardcore piano lessons from the time I was 3. And then eventually it kind of switched over. Like I never liked piano, but then eventually when I was about 14, I quit piano. And like at that point, I'd kind of started noticing that I really didn't like the reading music, the learning the scales, the theory, and that kind of thing. And then I was like finding myself wanting to write songs on the piano, like that I would sing along to. And then I don't know when it like clicked, but I was just like, well, country music is obviously what I love most, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me to be writing on the piano necessarily. It didn't really feel like my thing, I guess. So that's when I switched over to guitar lessons, and I started doing guitar lessons with a fellow named Oh So Simple. And he not only did he give me guitar lessons, but he actually kind of gave me more like songwriting lessons. So I would come to him with the songs I had kind of written on the piano, and then he'd help me like learn the chords, and that's how we started out. And then I was in guitar lessons with him until I was about 18. And then it just turned into a songwriting passion. That's the number one thing for me, is the songwriting.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it started.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I've been 14.
And how old are you now?
I'm 27, turning
Wow.
27. Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a while, I guess. Funny enough though, like I actually just looked at the list of songs that I've written ever, finished and unfinished, and probably 75% of them I wrote between age 14 and 16. Wow. Yeah, which like, melodically they're great, but lyrically they might need some work.
Sure. We've heard some of your stuff. We kind of shared each other's music and everything, and you played a song earlier, and it was absolutely, it was beautiful. So you've obviously matured, But what are some of like the kind of during your entire music journey, like like the writing experience? You're obviously here in Nashville. So how did you get here, from Canada?
Yeah, that's a cool question. Lots of little things, all the little combinations of things led me to get this opportunity to come here. I would say that up until about 2 years ago, songwriting was really just a hobby, like totally for fun, like never really even thought to record and release a song. It was just the songwriting part of it that I loved. And then, so about 2 years ago, I actually, a friend of mine started releasing his music, and he's like, why don't you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I never really thought about it, whatever. But, and eventually I kind of started doing that, recording, and then I've released 3 songs now, and then it just kind of led into, oh, well, if I love writing songs, that's the thing that I love most, how do I actually maybe try to make more of a career out of it?
What was that defining point? Was it a certain song that you wrote and you're like, oh, I can do this? Or what was that like?
Yeah, I think it was mostly just maybe the networking side of it, once I moved to Alberta, and Tracks Pub, and just getting to know other musicians, and then actually just kind of coming out of my bedroom of the songwriting world, and then people being kind of getting confidence from other people saying, wow, I really like your songs, you're a good songwriter. And then I'm like, oh,
some sort of affirmation.
Yeah. So that's when it kind of started, I think, and then actually releasing music, and then kind of understanding my sound once I actually took the songs that I wrote and made them come to life. That was when I think the passion, to answer your question, I think it was the actual recording process, the production side of it, where I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that my dreams could come true, so to speak. This is what I pictured it to sound like, and this is what it sounds like. And that's when I'm like, I want to do more of this and get more serious about it. Yeah.
There's nothing better than watching your vision come all together, and to be sitting, in your car and you're listening to that, right?
Yeah.
Right now, are you writing any new songs, or what are you doing right now?
Yeah. So right now, all these little connections led me to this opportunity to come to Nashville, and just working on several different songs with a bunch of different songwriters that I think all the songwriters I'm working with live here in Nashville, and that's what they do. They're songwriters. So I'm just working on all kinds of different little projects, and then we're going to release one once we kind of feel like there's one that's going to make it, and see what happens. Yeah.
Why Nashville? I mean, besides, well, it's a music capital or whatnot. Who'd you know here? Or when's your first time to come here?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, the first time that I came to Nashville was actually just as a tourist 2 years ago with my dad. And, so what led me to come this time was actually a friend from Alberta, actually, Don, who I'd kind of, I met him when I was serving at Tracks Pub. And
big shout out to Don Jorgensen. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, so actually that's kind of how it all started, was getting to know him, and then I'm always brainstorming ways to get myself out there. And so I just texted him one day and was like, hey, I don't really know much about radio tracking, but is there a tracker that I could maybe get in touch with just to learn more about it? If I want to get into that, with my new songs releasing soon and that kind of thing. So he just sent me this number of this gal from Nova Scotia, Cheryl. And so I ended up calling her, just thinking it was going to be about radio tracking. And then she just so happened to know me from the Star Search competition that I was in the year before that, which she's from Nova Scotia, so I didn't expect her to even know what the Star Search, that's 96.5 CKFM Olds radio. So, small town Alberta kind of thing. And that was such a cool opportunity. I never thought it would lead to that. But anyway, I'm so thankful that I did just happen to mention the Star Search to her on the phone, because once I said that, she was like, hey, my friend Aaron Goodvin, he's doing some projects and some songwriting things, and I think you'd be a great person for that. And then, so that's kind of how it led to me actually coming here. And that phone call was only 3 months ago. Yeah. So it was just connecting all the little,
That's what we like to hear, right? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
This guy Don, he's kind of like an angel in the Alberta music scene. He plays and lives an amazing life. He's an amazing musician, and you'd never guess, like, he's just the most humble man, and he has such a great story. But he's actually the one that introduced Kenzie and I, and he'd be the reason why we're sitting here today. Not just your songwriting, but all of us. I think what he said was, if you're going to be playing around olds, you need to be connected with Kenzie. And so I had reached out to Kenzie.
Which was quite funny because we actually had already met, technically, because you came into Tracks when I was a waitress part-time at that time. And we met, but I didn't even tell you that I was a musician. You're like, hey, I want to play a gig here.
You're just wrapping up your shift, and I was walking in trying to find a gig. And I just remember you, like, saying hi, introducing me to Carla, who's one of the head servers there. Legendary Carla. Shout out to Carla. Yeah. I think she's been working there for like
long time. Her and Mindy both.
Yeah. But anyways, this Tracks Pub, it's a place in a small town in Alberta, town of about 9,000 people. It's the live music venue, and it's amazing. It has such an eclectic group of musicians that come together between like college kids and retired professionals. And it's really starting to build into a community. And I couldn't believe when I spent a few months there the talent pool that was there and the quality of the songwriting.
Yeah.
And so you just never know where you're going to find gold, right? And I feel like the small town isolation just gives people that desire to get out into the world and that desire to express themselves.
Totally.
And it's been so inspiring for me, spending time in that little community and getting to know you. And I'm super excited that we're here today. I've got
kind of surreal, like how it all.
Well, and the way to put it is like songs, like we do the writing, right? But we just show up and write, and the songs come to us. Like we channel the music, right? And as I grow as a musician, I don't know if you guys could agree to this, but it's almost like the people you meet and the connections you make, they come the same way as a song. Like all you have to do is show up and be doing it, and it'll be like delivered. The person you need to be hanging out with, the people you need to be working with, you attract them into your life, and whatever sticks is obviously meant for you, right?
Sure. Totally.
And speaking of whatever sticks, what would you say like defines a good chorus?
That's a good question, Dane.
I can let you think about it. I know it's loaded.
Yeah, it's pretty loaded. Yeah, loaded question. What makes a good song, I would say, would be like, obviously, the chorus being the most, in theory, catchiest part of the song. A chorus that is like almost shocking when it comes to you, that it's like, wow, this is so catchy. Like, I never saw this coming, but at the same time, like, it's inevitable. Like, it could be any other way. Like, surprisingly inevitable would be the definition of a perfect chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. But what I took from just a third like point of view is like, we all do cover songs and we all like to have fun with it. But like when you were singing your song earlier while we were setting up, I just, there was a certain like, you were very connected with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can definitely feel when somebody's actually like
connected to that. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's good. I like that. Keep going. I like that.
And it was just like it wasn't the words and the music, but in combination, like when you created that. So it was like, I like when it also like connected with me because you were so in tune with it. So
you could feel it in the room.
Yeah.
You could feel that, the spirit in the room of that.
Yeah. And just like and you can tell too, like we were all talking and you started singing and everybody got quiet and just was like really just enjoying it, So it's that's also what I love about, just personally, what I love about being a musician is that the opportunity to do that, and then when you do connect with people on a personal level, they remember that, and it can affect, you obviously got your HonkyTalk songs and but you got your very like what do you call that, intimate songs. And to me, like I just resonate with like intimate songs
beyond the surface, just being on the surface. Let's go deeper.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's something too that's like cool to see too when you're in a setting where you're just in a room casually showing a new song or a new verse, and like that song, for example, I can like when you play it for people, you can usually learn a lot about yourself with that song. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed sharing that, and I feel like that just like reflected how much the song actually means to me. And like good to make like a mental note of like, you know, if I care about a song that much, or I can feel that connected, and to the point where people in the room can feel it and people kind of stop talking to listen, like that's a good thing to kind of reflect on. Like, okay, this maybe could be something, this song. Yeah.
Well, because you can play. We've all done it. We've all experienced this. You can play a song and, you know, people are kind of doing what they're doing. Whatever people are doing, whether they're at a bar, we're setting up for this, you know, Honky Talk podcast thing right here. But when you can capture that moment, and like, well, y'all done said it, but it's just, I guess I'm reiterating a little bit on this, but once you get people to calm down, they just kind of relax. And you have that, like yourself today, singing your song. That's a pretty cool moment too, to be able to witness you doing, like me sitting here and just listening. It was a genuine listen. It wasn't like we were being forced to listen, and you felt comfortable in it. That was really cool to watch.
It's almost like when those moments happen, it's a safe place to rest your soul for that moment. I mean, we live in a chaotic world, and I'm not even going to get into it, but I feel like our purpose, you know, in this world is to give people that opportunity to find peace for a moment and to keep it simple, you know. When I hear a good song like you sang earlier today. What's the name of that song, by the way? Does it have a name yet?
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it Looking Back.
Looking Back, and you just wrote it like this week.
Yeah, just this week. Yeah.
Wow.
And to see, like we're talking about, but also to double down on this, to see her comfort. Like what she was just saying, Kenzie, what you were just saying is like you felt connected to that song, and Trey mentioned that to you and about that. Now you're kind of like, oh, well, okay, you know? And so it's always funny because the songwriters, and this is for anybody listening too, everybody needs affirmation or confirmation and reassurance.
That's
and
so
all that.
important.
Because when you're putting yourself out there, especially as an artist, any kind of artist, you want to have people respect your work, you know? And it was cool to share that with us.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Like just even hearing that, sorry to cut you off. Like even hearing that, I think like it's so important. Everyone's personalities are different, of course, but like I know my love language is words of affirmation. Big time.
You're like a man. That's mine.
Yeah.
Have you read the book?
So it's like even like hearing that, you know, like feedback like that gives me, you know, not to sound like, oh, you know, like not confident, but it's like just hearing that song impacted you guys, like listening to it, like it makes me realize like, okay, it's not just me, like this song could be something like, you know, and at the end of the day, it's just a song is therapy. Like writing the song is the process is what matters the most, I think. Yeah, and I just think that when you're, you know, actually sharing it, if you ever hear somebody sharing a song, you know, you might not know if it's the first time that they're playing it for you or the 50th time they've played it, but, you know, that person might need to hear you say, like, hey, that's a good song, and I resonated with it because, and then that gives that person, like, that confidence to move forward with whatever they might do with it.
Right, exactly. And that's actually what I was about to say and kind of ask is like, I'm sure you have many other songs like this, and we've also experienced songs like this that we've written, but that deep sense of like healing in some of this stuff.
And
like
self-awareness and to be able to express that.
Yeah, and to be able to, exactly.
You almost learn about yourself in the songwriting process. Like, I'll write a song, and I'll be like, I didn't know I was going through that. Oh, and then it's like, wow, okay, buddy, like I see you now. You know? Yeah,
it's so true.
It's like sometimes you pull those lyrics up, and it's like looking in the dang mirror, you know. But seeing things you were blind to, the veil just lifts. It's a gift to be able to do what we do, and I think our purpose is to share that with others, to whatever scale we need to be at, like. When the world's ready for our music, I mean, the world will hear it, right? And sometimes that's in a small crowd, or sometimes that's in a big crowd, or sometimes that's here right now, you know. And I think we all can agree we needed to hear that song. And I know you likely won't play it or release it for a while, but I want you guys to just like stay in tune with Kenzie, because she's growing as an artist so much since I first met her, and I think you got a lot of good stuff ahead of you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I definitely think I'm reaching, or I reached a point anyway, maybe a few months ago, where I kind of felt like I was having really bad writer's block. So I think this was like the perfect time for me to get these opportunities that I'm getting, and just to meet new connections, like, writing with you, writing with, who else did we write with? Well, I guess I was writing with Cole, I was writing with Tom, and like I hadn't really done like many co-writes, but I think this chapter of my life, it's like perfect timing, because I'm just like, I need other people's brains.
Co-writes are the best thing, in my personal opinion, because I'll sit there and think about a line for 30 minutes or 30 days. But when I'm in a room with somebody, it's like you don't even have to ask. You know if that line's going to work because you can feel it in the room, and you get that so you can go boom, 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 and in a couple hours you can accomplish what might take a couple months if you're just going to sit there and fight yourself, right? Like you need that other person to bounce the ideas off of. I really, really love, and
We get
actually,
different perspectives.
yeah, absolutely. And also like different places to go. Like I know some of the songs I've written with you and with you, Trey, like when we take a song a different direction, transferring from a verse into a chorus or something, it's like, I would have never thought of that. Oh my God, I love that melody, right? And then I just got to rewind a little bit. But speaking of everything that's going on, what do you have coming up in the future that we can look forward to and the audience can look forward to?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would say that something that will be happening fairly soon that I'm looking forward to is I do have a song that's already been recorded and it's ready to release. I was actually going to release it early May, but I think it'll be early June now. So that's something exciting. That's something that I just wrote on my own, and we recorded it like a while ago now. But and then after that, it's just kind of seeing where this songwriting process in Nashville takes us, and then kind of hopefully picking a song from that, and that's kind of the next thing to look forward to.
Are you able to tell us a little bit about your next release, what maybe the song title is or what the song's about? I'm really interested.
Yeah. So the next song is called One Lifetime. And I wrote it pretty recently, I guess, like 2 years ago. And I wrote it, kind of in a time, which, I still feel to an extent now, time in my life where you don't know, like, what you're supposed to be focusing your energy on when. Like, just, there's only one lifetime to do all of these dreams and all of these, which I feel like a lot of people, typically in their maybe 20s, 30s can relate to that more. But that's something that I've kind of always struggled with. It's a good problem to have, but just having so many passions and not being kind of pulled in all these different directions. Yeah.
So speaking of many passions, I know that you are a multifaceted person, like as far as your career goes. You're not just a musician. What else do you do?
So in the summer, like spring to fall, I actually manage our family's adventure horseback company in the Purcell Mountains. So that's kind of where I'm putting all my energy, other than music, is I'm always thinking about what type of adventures we're going to do. And like we started doing lady retreats, so we're not just riding horses in the mountains and staying in cabins. We're also incorporating yoga and like connection activities and things like that. And just it's all disconnecting. So like going out into the wilderness and just,
That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
actually.
It is very nice.
I think we should plan a little trip to Canada and go for one of those rides.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe in June.
Yeah, maybe sometime. Hey,
yeah, maybe in June we might be there.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, this guy's going international. We talked about it last podcast. But what does a day like in the Purcell Mountains when you're at work running the adventure guides, like just tell us, because I don't think people understand like how cool this is.
Like just like a day in the life.
Yeah, just be like, this is what I do in a day.
Yeah, so the way that I try to paint the picture is we are very much in the middle of nowhere. So what you do, we have 45 head of horses. So we pack the gear with the horses and we ride the horses. So you're off the beaten track, like there's no public roads. So you kind of just ride up. We've got 16 different cabin camps cabins, I should say, 16 cabins throughout 700,000 acres of pristine wilderness. So you can basically ride for 3 hours to the first camp, or 8 hours to the next camp, or, you know, you kind of just skip around, and we ride in and out of different valleys. And the cabins kind of make it like a glamping experience in a way, even though they're not fancy. They were built very long ago. You know, sometimes you ride into a cabin camp that's no one's even been to it in a few years, and a grizzly bear broke into it. So it's just like quite an adventure, to say the least. So people kind of get that taste of just jumping on a horse, riding into the middle of nowhere, and staying in an old cabin camp that's full of history, and everyone's got their names written on the walls, and drink from the river.
And see, cowboys is not just American, U.S. American.
Amen.
There's a cowboy in all of us.
Yeah.
Amen.
Or girl.
They Kate, we got to touch on the grizzly stuff.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, okay, like, look, what have you experienced on this?
Because they don't have a lot of bears down here, and so it's kind of like when they talk about alligators and cottonmouth snakes and stuff. That's how they feel about bears. And they would love to. I'm sure you have some great stories.
Something you wrote up on, or something you saw, or on.
Oh my gosh, I just have to think about what story I would want to tell, because I mean, this one is probably like, I always think about the clients, right? Because like the clients that we take, a lot of them aren't experienced. Like, you don't have to be horse experienced or backcountry experienced to come with us. And our horses are bomb-proof, safe, you know. So this is like a story. Sometimes I'll avoid sharing in case people are worried, like, is this safe for me to come on? So I'll start the story by saying, super rare. I've been doing this my whole life. This particular incident is like 1 in a million, but it was a shit show. So basically, so I usually end up telling it to the clients when we're up in the bush anyway. So
when they finally
hell
get there
with
and
it.
settled.
Yeah. Once they've made the trek and they're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I'm in love with my horse Piglet, and the view is beautiful. Like, that's when I tell the story. So the story was, I was 22-ish, and I decided I was going to bring my college friends up the trail. I'm like, all I do is bring up clients from, you know, wherever, and I'm like having to babysit them and look after their horses and make them dinner. I'm like, how fun would it be just to go up with 6 or 7 of my college friends, and they can all fend for themselves, and we just have fun, bring, like, I think one whole pack horse was just booze on the way up there. So that says it all. But anyway, we were riding up, and it was just pouring rain, like absolute downpour. I told everyone to bring their rain gear, but they didn't for some reason. Anyway, so everyone was soaked, and we were needing to get into the cabin to get warm. And I explained to them, like, it's June, the river, like I told them this from the start, we might get to the river crossing, because the way our territory works is you cross the river, and then the first cabin camp is on the other side of the river. So unfortunately, if the river's really high, and our clients have to know this too, sometimes we can't cross the river. It's not safe. So you come all the way out for this trip, we might not be able to cross the river, right? But long story short, this river was very high, but you know, it's my friends, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to cross the river first, and then I'll give you guys a thumbs up if I think it's good, and then you can cross with me. The rule of thumb, don't look down. This isn't just like a wide flowing river. This is a rough thrashing river with log jams and corners. So if you fall off, game over.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Gulp.
we're riding along, and again, these are my friends, right? Like, they knew the situation, and so anyways, we're like riding along. I cross the river. I'm like, okay, it's deep, but it's like, it's okay to cross. Just be careful. Don't look down. Give them the thumbs up. Right as they start to cross, a grizzly bear jumps out of the bushes and runs at the horses. The horses go berserk, and 2 of my friends get tossed into the river, swept downstream.
Wow.
So I jump off my horse, run downstream. Thank God they did end up like catching onto a ledge, and everyone else made it across. And everyone lived, so that was good.
And so-
It's a story that we all talk about, like every time we all get together. Like,
I have to ask, like, do you travel with bear spray, or what kind of protection do you like? Do you have
Yeah.
guns?
Is that a thing?
or-
Is
Yeah.
that a thing?
Yeah.
we have bear spray
Bear
for sure.
spray,
Yeah, I
okay.
always bring bear spray. Obviously, we can't carry handguns.
Yeah.
Where we are, so usually you have like a rifle on your like saddle horse, like on your scabbard. I actually don't find to do that much. I usually just have bear spray on me. I like that anyway. Then it's on you.
Yeah.
And my whole life, like I've been doing this my whole life, and I've never had to use it.
Yeah.
I've never had to, like I said, that story is like a 1 in a million. Like the fact that we were crossing a river and that's when a bear came out was like,
Well, and the reality is like bears, like, are more afraid of us than we are of them, and we're terrified of them, right? Like, they don't want to mess with us unless they have to, right? And sometimes they have to because they're starving, and that's not a pretty scene, right? Or sometimes they have to because they're protecting their kin, but typically they want nothing to do with you. They want their peace, and you're in their backyard. That's what we always forget, like with animals, is we're living in their backyard. It's not like they're in our backyard, right?
and it's so typical too. Like I would say like 80% of the time riding to a cabin camp, like we see bears.
Yeah.
And they just run off.
Yeah,
and the horses are so used to it. They're like, oh, look, there's a bear. We ride past. Like, that's like the only issue I've ever had.
And one of the biggest telltale signs that there's a bear in the area is actually the horse's reactions, right? Like they'll snort, their ears will come up.
They know.
They know before the human does, right? Because they have that animal instinct.
Yeah, totally. So there's definitely lots of things leading up to it to avoid the absolute worst case scenarios.
Well, now that we've told a horror story, why don't you just like the name of your mountain adventure company and just like a couple details in case anybody's listening that might be interested in booking a tour.
Yeah, and then hopefully that story doesn't
or
traumatize
if you want
you.
to keep it all under wraps, that's okay too.
No. Like it's so it's called A-Bar-Z Mountain Adventures, and in a nutshell, we do horseback and hiking backcountry experiences, and for all levels of experience. And you pick how hard of a trip you want to do, what kind of country you ride through, and you do anywhere from like a 3-day to a 7-day overnight trip.
And if somebody wanted to book a trip, just reach out to you personally through social media? Or
Yeah, our socials is A-Bar-Z.
A-Bar-Z.
A-Bar-Z Mountain Adventures, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to put a link in the bio here so that, because I highly
so much fun.
recommend that anybody that has the means to do a trip up to Canada, Kenzie and I, that area of Canada, in my eyes, is one of the most beautiful.
It is. It
beautiful
really
places
actually
on
is.
planet
Yeah.
Earth. It's where God
And
lives. in my eyes.
Invermere, like the town that's close, it's like even just that town alone, if you didn't want to do the backcountry experience, it's like you have the hot springs, you have the hiking, you have the river floating, the town is built around a lake. It's like so nice. Yeah.
That sounds like a really awesome thing to do, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even after hearing that story, I'm still down.
Really?
Like,
Man,
yeah,
when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. If it's a grizzly, hell yeah.
yeah, like, what a story. You know,
Yeah.
I'll go down as a legend, but
People are really craving adventure now too. Like, I mean, that's a whole other topic I could get into, but there's something about the world right now. I think that's why we've kind of like gotten a little bit more, well, not a little bit, a lot more popular, because it's like, wow, so many people from all over the world, they just want to come out and ride horses through the mountains and have a real experience where they're not being babied and they're actually sleeping in like a legitimate historic cabin in the middle of the mountains.
right, yeah.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah, so many people do not get to I mean, like you talk, like people in the big cities, like around in the U.S., like New York, L.A. There's not a lot of woods or unless you're in the like kind of rural area. But like there's millions and millions of people who don't get to. They'll go their whole lives without even like touching a horse or
Yeah.
seeing a bear.
That's one thing I learned is like there's some people that have never been on a dirt road in their life, and it's hard
That's
for
so
me
true.
to fathom because I was raised on dirt roads, right?
Right.
But when at the end of the day, like we're so blessed to have lived the life that we live, and it's reflected in our music. Like when I listen to Mr. Atkins' music, it just screams like I'm a wild Southern
Just
country
winks
boy.
at the camera.
Yes. Keep talking.
Oh, baby.
He really thinks before he speaks.
He does.
Even if it's just a,
He has to.
yeah.
It's on contract.
That's right. What I'll
That's
say,
right.
The mics are on and cameras are rolling, so he's we love you, Bo.
I was thinking
It's
that,
called
like,
maturity. Yes. Maybe you ought to pick it up.
Oh, he's all grown up.
kind of a cool transition to, like, I mean, blending the songwriting and the wilderness worlds, you know, those two topics, is Dane knows I really am, like, maybe not 2025, but 2026 songwriting retreat. I want to do that. I think
there.
that would be such a cool atmosphere for people to come up and basically just provide the inspiration in terms of location, where it wouldn't necessarily be a workshop, but people could just come up and get their own little corner by the river and have some inspiration to write.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're hanging out with the right kind of people to do something like that right here, right now. I mean, the community of songwriters we know would just eat that up. I mean, there's nothing better than just sitting out in nature with the guitar. You know, like some of our best writes have just been on the front porch. Like down in Louisiana, that's how they do it. Sitting on the front porch, you know, on a porch swing.
Yeah, that dynamic change of just instead of sitting in a living room, it's like, wow, like the sound of the wind in the trees or the river or the birds.
Yeah, you look up and it's like I see the clouds rolling in, you know, and there's a lyric.
Totally.
Yep. I was on the phone with Bo Atkins the other day, and he was where were you at? Gulf Shores?
Oh, it was in
Or Corpus Christi? Where were you at?
I was in let's just say Galveston.
Okay. You were on the beach, and we were calling. I'm telling you, this dude, he's like watching. He's like, I'm watching the waves roll in, and I'm like, I'm sitting on my front porch, and I'm like, I'm watching the rain come down on East Georgia Avenue. And he's like, write that down.
And here I am at the beach, you know,
Just
watching waves roll in before a gig.
It's pouring down rain and whatnot. I'm just like, wow, that must be nice.
And did you guys not? Isn't there a
We
song
wrote it
that came
down.
out of it?
No.
I thought I heard a recording of something like that.
I'm sorry.
And Les Trey has been writing behind my back.
I have no idea, actually.
Okay, well, hey,
But I know he wrote it down because I think when I got home,
I did write it down.
I wrote it down. I wrote some of the stuff we talked about down.
yeah,
Okay.
like in songwriting in general, like
Everything's a hook.
oh yeah, on our way to Nashville, there's a sign that said "Slow down, Memphis," and I was on the phone with my friend Ireland, and I was like, "All right, honey, I got to write a song." Hang up, and I grabbed the guitar. I was like, "Slow down, Memphis, you're going way too fast. Slow down, Memphis, this too shall pass. Heading to the Ville of the Nash. Slow down, Memphis, you're going way too fast."
It's just
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Like, you're just in the backseat with a
we're
guitar.
just singing away, and man, like when those moments hit and it happens, like you never know. You just have to be ready. And but when I saw that sign, I was like, "That's a song title."
Well, and the funny thing is Trey Son's name's is named Memphis.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that the entire
Too.
time.
Cool name.
Yeah. So
But we were talking about like how you can feel where something is going, or like, you know, the energy in the room when you're writing. It's I was thinking in the back of my head like the Slow Down Memphis being like, you know, my little boy growing up and, you know, time lapse,
Wow.
right? But then it wasn't going there. It went something in a total different direction. But I think as a writer, like we can have our own, like we can suggest the ideas and stuff, but like to understand and feel the energy and see where everything is kind of going, to like, I guess you can take your ego out of it and like really give it something. So we were out there and we were dishing out something totally different, and it turned out to be a great like idea. And it was such a deep and meaningful like direction it was going. So I didn't want to like doing that. But I was thinking about the Memphis
Well,
thing.
it's funny because it's almost come full circle now, because like we basically fleshed out the other idea and didn't get any verses out of it. But now like thinking about your son, you know, I'd love to take it that direction. We'll have to on the drive home. I'm sure we'll come up with a couple verses.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking like right now it's like, oh my gosh, what time is it?
Yeah.
I was thinking right now just like it'd be so cool like doing the whole life thing, like even when he's like he turns 16 and gets his first truck. Slow down, Memphis.
Oh, dang.
You're going way too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so you
You
can
know?
do the first little bit about like how he's a little boy, and then the next
Exactly.
bit about him getting his driver's license.
And then he becomes a daddy and
Yeah,
he gets his
becomes a
kids.
man.
And he's like,
Slow down, Memphis. You gotta be a good dad. Here we go. You heard it here first. Yeah. oh no.
Goosebumps.
yeah, I know. All right, boys, we're not leaving. We're staying
You
and
know,
writing.
I wanted to say something because I thought of it when you guys were talking about, well, as soon as you saw the sign, Slow Down Memphis, something as a songwriter that I think is so important is to look around you. Doesn't matter if you're in a songwriting session or not.
That's
And phones ruin a lot nowadays. They're great in a lot of ways and they're horrible in a lot of ways. But one of the things that they do is they make you not look around. Stop to smell the flowers. So, you know, if you're constantly looking around you and aware and mindful, like think about all the songwriting hooks there are around you. And I feel like it's just like, just having your brain turned on all the time to look for that is where the magic happens. Like that's where you find the song.
Yeah, I was just when you were talking about that, I was thinking like what do you have like every day your brain's turned on to like songwriter mode or whatever, but like what are some exercise? Is that something you do? You just walk around and you're like, okay, what can I do with this? What can I do with that?
Well, yeah, I have like most songwriters, I think I have notes on my phone that I'm just, if I see something, like even if it's like a flower or someone's name or something, I'm like, that I don't even know what the song would be about, but that's cool. Like even if it's just a word. But yeah, just I'm always trying to keep my ears open for that, I think. And also just listening to other people's music, like not stealing ideas, but more so like, you know, one of my goals right now was like The Chair by George Strait. It's like, wow, like he literally just wrote a song about a chair. It's like, I want to write that. So even just like writing that down on my notes, like write like the chair. Like what could I see an object and make it come to life somehow? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, I love
everything
that.
could have such a deep meaning.
Yeah, it reminds me of so much of our stories. It's crazy how we're like it relates. But I know we are running a little short on time and everything. So I just, you know, I've got one question for you, and then we can kind of do what we do. But if you couldn't sing, or if you couldn't, you know, or whatever, like what would be the other thing that you would want to do
Like in my life.
in your life?
Okay. It would be to adventure the mountains by horseback. That's what I would do. And I mean, they kind of go hand in hand because I can write songs up there. So they do flow together, but that's what I would do. That's where I would want to shift my energy if I could do it all the time. And yeah, but I think I do like having like the best of both worlds because they kind of work together. And yeah, definitely.
How Joni Mitchell puts that is crop rotation is her Alberta term. She says a good farmer rotate crops every year to make sure that they're not sucking the same nutrients
hey, that's
out.
a cool way
And
to
so
put it.
she loves to paint and she loves to write songs. And so to keep that creative knob turned on all the time, if the songwriting isn't going well, she'll paint for a few days. And then when the painting isn't going well, she'll go write. And so like right when you mentioned riding and how they go hand in hand, I can totally see it's like, I'm just gonna go escape. You know, ride off, you know, into the sunset, and then you come back and there's the song. You know, you just had to go live it for a second.
You had to, well, like I was even thinking to myself the other day, I was like, I want to live a life that I can write songs about. And that's what the horseback adventure thing is for me. And I mean, even 5 years ago, maybe even more recently, like I wasn't super passionate about the adventure side of it. Like, I mean, I grew up doing it and I knew I loved it, but it was actually rodeo for me. Like for the longest time, it was like, do I want to be a pro barrel racer and try to go to the NFR, or do I want to be like a musician for a living? Like, what do I want to do? And then like I was actually feeling really lost like 2 years ago when I wrote that song One Lifetime, because I was like, oh, like I don't know where to put my energy. Like literally waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning when I make my own hours with my office job in the winter months, and I'm still waking up that early to like, okay, I'm gonna ride my horses, and then I'm gonna work on my songs, and then I'm gonna do this and that, and like just trying to do too many passions at once. But somewhere along the way, like the rodeo thing kind of faded. Like I don't know if that's gonna come back, but it's like the answer just kind of eventually came to me, and now I'm like, I could just be happy spending my summers riding in the backcountry, and then whenever I have a phase in my life where I have my competition horses in shape and I can go to a rodeo, great. But I'd have that passion for making it pro is gone now. Like I'm just like, I'm so content with living a life I can write songs about, I guess. Yeah.
That is very beautiful. Well, look, guys,
Hey,
thank you for watching.
I got one
What you got?
question.
What
This
you
is
got?
the
What
best.
you got?
This is the most important question, Kenzie.
Okay, the most important.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even said nothing yet.
I
Why-
know you're just funny. We love you, Daddy.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
That's all that
That's a good
matters.
question.
Honky Talk Podcast. Take us out,
Talk
Trey.
Podcast. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks so
and
much for
sharing-
having me.
Yeah, just sharing your story. It was amazing to hear. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you go like, share, follow, subscribe. The Honky Talk Podcast. Also, Miss Kenzie over here.
Give us your
last
handles.
words?
Your
Oh yeah, social media.
Yeah, so it's Kenzie, as in Mackenzie, but without the muck. Kenzie _ Duboiz, Duboiz. That's my Instagram. Don't really have an active music Facebook going on, so
Cool.
yeah. Yep.
All right, Instagram. Cool. Oh, you heard it, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.